Audio test. Audio test. Sounds good. How's everyone doing? So I see Mac, Sora, Lem, Sizer. I haven't really had much time to play the past few days, and I also haven't really had time to record the videos I want to get done, so yeah, there's a few things to get caught up on. Bacon Fat, how's it going? Spanners, Species, Jay, Darkness. Yeah, let me get some of this news pulled up quick here while we're waiting for people to get in. But man, that console dilithium exchange, that's quite a surprise, isn't it? Paul, Greg, Michi, Cat. We're gonna be talking about cats here soon. Working from home today, so get to watch the stream. Nice. I'm a bit wiped. Just been a busy week. Busy week for sure. Chris, how's it going? Okay, so let's start off with some of the basic stuff here. Now, I'll be recapping some of this in a news video probably tomorrow, if I feel like recording later today. But over on console with the latest patch, there's been some new leaks. One of them is that we're getting the Voyager A, I think it is, from Star Trek Prodigy, which as soon as we saw it, we're like, that looks like it'd be kit bashable with the Sovereign. Well, if you're over on console and you look at the skins that you can put on your Sovereign, one of them is that Lamar class from Star Trek Prodigy. So what this means is we're probably going to see like a science spearhead Lamar put into the probably into like a promo box or lock box later this year. Yeah, I need to get some EC honestly prepped ahead of time. Let me do something that's going to get me some EC. We do still have a Lobi sale up. People have been asking, what are the best Lobi things to get? And to be honest with you, a lot of the Lobi stuff, especially a lot of the Lobi gear, just hasn't aged particularly well. Like, you've got the Bioneural console for the crit severity that everyone knows about. The ultimate console for crit chance, the ultimate set, the Omni Beam, and the Torp that go with that console, those aren't really used anymore because the Pavin Omni completely replaces the ultimate Omni. And you can't run both because they're both set Omnis. So I'm gonna go in and spend some Lobi quick. We've got this 20% Lobi sale on PC that's running up through tomorrow. And I want to get some EC out of it. I already have all of the space gear and ground gear that I'd care about. Nothing really notable there that I'd say everyone should go out and pick up. Other than, the obvious stuff like Boimler. If you're a ground player, Space Explorer is a great gig, is good. I like the disco full auto rifle that you get from in here. Yeah, the phaser full auto rifle. For 40 Lobi, that's a pretty good ground weapon. Draco, Paul, promo or lockbox is pretty much guaranteed. Dan, I saw you got a pretty good number last night, right? Well, on casual, I bought out all of the space items in the Lobi store on a stream last year, so nothing I really need. 650K, very nice. Congrats. Yeah, Stu, I mean, a science spearhead, I feel like people, if the Lamar is a science spearhead, I think that will disappoint quite a few people. I just think in general, science ships just don't really have much appeal to the vast majority of players. It's a niche playstyle, and most people want to be able to focus on their weapons, and with science ships, I mean, the science spearheads you somewhat can, but in general, that's not what they're designed for. Lonnie, good to hear. It was nice meeting up with you yesterday, and I hope you enjoy that Enterprise DXL, the China Cell one. Great. Chromless ships seems more likely. Well, we're gonna get a new lockbox in about a month. The question is it that Lamar or is it an Ethereum ship? I still feel like an Ethereum lockbox is possible with, some of them proton weapons, but I haven't had indications for sure, which is going to be the focus of the next lockbox. Robert, Dan, I'm glad to help. Chris, opinionated question: would the Enterprise G have been better off as an Excelsior 2 class over the Neo Constitution? Yeah. I mean, whatever would have enabled some more kit bashing on it would have been nice. Okay. Playing War Thunder. Yeah, so I'm still looking to get set up with that, but I've seen some of the numbers that Neojet, Parrot, and some of the others have been putting out with the Terran monitor, and we used to be very negative about those science carriers, and here we are in 2024, and you look at the solo ISE tables, you know what build is at the top? It's these damn Terran monitor science carriers that are able to they lose the secondary deflector, but because the Type 7 is bringing in so much debuff, they're able to make up for that. They misnamed the Infinity Lockbox. Terrible. I mean, if you're on an AoE focused build, Lava, I think that Ruin is a very good trait to have. And I mean, the Disco D7 on its own is still a very good platform. That is a very, very capable ship. Okay, I said I was going to get some EC. And the way that I'm going to get EC is I'm going to buy advanced obelisk carriers, and I'm going to sell them. Is that enough? Is 10 enough? What's the Herogen Apex at? 289. I don't think that's going to have as much appeal. The reason the obelisk is even selling at all is because people are getting it for the console now for the set. Nah, I need to. I'm going into EC harvesting mode. I need EC, so I'm getting prepared. Over the next couple of months, I want to be. I want to get back up to having a good chunk of liquid EC again. What am I planning to use it for? No comment. You'll find out. Okay. I need to get some of these consoles out of my inventory too. Speaking of carriers, fly my Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier, do it. Oh no. Have 5 watchers as well. If you have fleet modules to sell, now is a good time. Spencer's just really good at guessing. Last time he decided to say VC, the Credence just so happened to come out. The Credence is a good ship. The Credence, I just commented on the Reddit thread about it, but the only reason the Credence doesn't get more attention, I feel, as a platform is just because the Legendary Avenger and the VOD Jug with the Merrick Worker Intel combo are still better, you know, for the current meta. The OSS 3 to buff up like fleet power and just in general the power buffs that provides, that's really good. But aside from that, like the Credence is an amazing platform. The Credence is really, really quite solid. And no, I don't have any on the exchange. This is the only one I have, and it's going on an alternate character. Is this some sort of therapy to recover from your gambling addiction, maintain a large amount of EC without buying master keys? Yeah, yeah. You see, I've got my fleet bank here. This is a fleet called the Federal Reserve, and it needs to be topped up with a couple billion. Why am I keeping so much equipment? Quite a bit of EC sitting there doing nothing. I mean, occasionally I'll try to go through and sell stuff, but I always have. I've always had a lot of assets. I just don't often have much liquidity on my account. I don't usually have that much EC, but like asset wise, I'm a hoarder. Yes, Nicholas, Nick, how's it going, man? Do I have a meted legendary Avenger build? Yeah, I put it up on the Discord, like the one that I've been using for like record runs, but I don't have a setup for that for just more general pug content. Yeah, I mean, I am absolutely a hoarder. That's why I am able to say that Triz is a hoarder, because it takes one to know one. Dargetti? Did I say the Discord D7? No. The Legendary Avenger for pure do is a better platform than the World Razor. But the World Razor, you know, that is the Enterprise D. You can make the World Razor look just like the Enterprise D. So there's a lot of appeal to that platform. And it's, you know, it's getting you 90% of the way there. And if you're doing a pure phaser build, you've got the integrated phaser Juggernaut array. Where do you get the T6 version of the classic Jem'Hadar Dreadnought carrier? Can't find it. It's lockbox, and if you happen to have the MUDs carried away bundle and you selected it, then you can also get that on account-wide unlock, if this is what you're talking about. Man, I really like this ship. It's just that the stats on it don't hold up too well. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just it could be better. Any employee update? You know, I haven't looked in the past couple of days, but like the last thing I'd seen was Kale had commented that like time was running out there. Let me see if there's anything. Uh, yeah, looking at it, I mean, again, I haven't looked at this too much recently, but I can take a look here for you. By latest. So, Muhammad there is a new 3D character artist for STO at DECA Games. Yeah, nothing new there. Let me search for DECA. Nothing too recent. Character artist. Yeah, Nothing too recent. World Razor is well rounded. You have more build options to play. Yeah, the World Razor can do twerps very well. Like if the Eagle wasn't the only platform that we were looking at nowadays, the World Razor was like a really good twerp contender. Yeah, a legendary of the Gem Dread carrier would be great. DPS meta snob, absolutely. Kales. He said basically that there's, let me just show that post again. Hold on. It was, hey folks, as many of you know, I'm looking for a new role with a somewhat swiftly approaching deadline. So basically, you know, with that, his time at Cryptic is running out. Lufer, thank you for the follow. What happened to Augmented Dictator? He decided the best move for him was to just completely move on from STO and delete his channel. Firebrand, how's it going? Yeah, there's absolutely gonna. I think we're not that far off from seeing the new community manager reveal themselves. Legendaries cost too much even on sale. Casual stalker. I mean, it's just using the search filter on LinkedIn for DECA games and Star Trek Online. That's pretty much all it is, Warpcore. What do I think of the new Theseus Destroyer compared to the Atlantis or the Achilles? I think, you know, all of these platforms, the Achilles is good, but between those three, it's probably the weakest of those three. Just because the dual of the same specialization. The Atlantis has a good spec combo. The Theseus has a good spec combo also. The only reason I don't really prefer any of those over the Dalkina is the spec combo and the layout on the Dalkina just works better for my playstyle. And the Hangar Bay and the Cloak on the Dalkina are also quite nice, as is the Singularity Core. Most people hate Singularity Cores, but I think that they're quite beneficial if you understand how to take advantage of their abilities. And if you just sit there and let them charge up, they give you a power bonus. So, if you have the right core. What is that laser ball thing? That is the Kelvin Connie 2 console. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. The Kelvin Connie 2. If I didn't have all the stuff right now and I was about to collect the event campaign, what ships would I get? If I was brand new and really far behind, especially like on crit chance and endeavors and stuff like that, I'd probably be looking at the Mirror Warship first, just because that traits, you know, 15% crit chance and 75 AC. Like early on, that's quite beneficial, and that's a trait that's going to carry on for you pretty much forever. Basically, every build out there at the high end uses that trait. Terran goodbye. And I mean, the Mirror Warship itself is still a capable platform. You can set that up to be an excellent energy weapon platform for beam overload, CSV, fall, whatever you want. DECA has hired a lot of people. I think, you know, we're not seeing too much right now because they're still training people up, getting them used to everything. But I think the impression I get looking at all of this, the amount of hires they're doing, is that they're serious about wanting this game to be successful, and they're investing the resources to make sure that it is successful long term. I think we're just you know, we're not seeing much right now because we're still in this transitory period. But I think, you know, we'll look back at this, you know, a couple years from now and be more than fine with the little bit of uh the quiet and the chaos that we have going on right now. No, there's no mods bundle with the mirror worship yet. I am far behind on chat. What's the best ship for a full torp build? It's the Terran Eagle. That's like the only option right now in the current meta for high-end torps. The Terran Eagle just it's just nuts what that thing can do. And Nick NB has a video going over the Terran Eagle. If you look at his YouTube channel. I forget which warp or which singularity core it is, but I know that there's some from like the Fleet Colony. Some of the set ones will also give you a power bonus from having your singularity charge built up. No, I don't think Bort or pretty much any of the current STO team will probably be there long term. Chicken nuggies or slow cooked barbecue meatballs. Chicken nuggets, yeah. How much do DECA pay me to try and maintain community confidence in a game like this? I wish I was being paid. They don't even have an affiliate program, you know? What is the best race career firing mode for the maximum suffering? So what is the worst? I mean, you already know my answer to that. It's going to be a single target firing mode. Probably rapid fire right now. Rapid fire seems to be rather weak. Yeah, so best race career. Well, we'll go with a pack-led engineer using cannon rapid fire. It'll be very immersive, but people would still have too much fun with that. This is the second kid for my sister. Yeah. She's out of the hospital. She had it Thursday. Him. I don't know why I keep saying it. She had him Thursday. Brought him home yesterday. So just been a hectic week. Yeah, and with the augmented situation, yeah, I think the comment there, like if his content was still up on his channel, he would at some point be tempted to come back. And whenever he did come back and start engaging again, you know, part of his issue was he was really focused on the high-end DPS stuff, and he burnt a lot of bridges behind the scenes with a lot of people in that part of the community. So with him wanting to focus on that stuff too much, every time he came back, you know, he would eventually find himself wanting to get back into that stuff, and he'd run into the same roadblock of actions he took, burned those bridges with those groups, those players in that part of the community, and it would leave him extremely, extremely frustrated. So after going through that a few times, he decided, you know, especially with him shifting his focus to IRL, improving his health, that the best thing for him to do long term was to just move on from STO entirely. And as part of that, you know, that was also taking down his channel so that he wouldn't be tempted to come back and repeat the same scenario over again. Boy, Dark Eddie. His name is Jude. Jude, I believe. Um, what troubles have I been causing? All the trouble. Yeah, Sizer, I have barely been able to play too much the past couple of weeks, and I appreciate your experimentation with some of the new stuff like that new set. Sizer's been getting some really good results out of the set that is the current event reward. Isn't that why you're a gold seller? Terrible. Do I think they'll remove the Heroian Hunter from the T5 lockbox reward box? I would not be surprised if just randomly at some point in the future it disappears, but you know, for the time being, it is still there. So if you have T5 ship boxes, then stockpile them and just understand, you know, they're not going to instantly shoot up in price if they're removed from that box. Like there's thousands of these things out there now, tens of thousands. So it will take time for those Heroian Hunters to go up if they are removed. Thanks, banners. Mox, I use DaVinci Resolve. It is completely free. It is a very powerful video editing software. For the recordings, I use OBS, which is also completely open source and free use. You know, in the current environment, there's a lot of free tools that you can access that will enable you to make some wonderful content. That's true. ERL can be a bit rough. We still talking about STO on Twitter? Is there another way to get the Mirror Connie warship aside from the Infinity Lockbox? Not yet, but I think it's just a matter of time until we see that added to a mods bundle. Nick, member for 25 months. Haircut when I know. It's really bad today. Kind of good on carrier builds. Am I the only one not getting progress for the current event? The timer's broken on it. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve, it's owned by Black Magic. They make a lot of video cameras and all that, and basically they've put this version of the software out there for free because they want you know, they want people to get used to their ecosystem so that in a professional setting they get used to it. Oh wow, I don't have my notifications on. I missed a raid here. Baron, thank you for the raid there. Let me, you know, I completely forgot to turn on my YouTube and Twitch overlays. There we go. That fixed that. Thank you for the raid. Very much appreciated. Hope you had a good stream. Can I link them or put them? Yeah. Give me a minute. But yeah, DaVinci Resolve. It's great. Completely free software. I mean, there is a paid version of it if you want some additional features, but this is software that is used professionally to go out, make movies, TV shows, things like that. So the free version of it is because they want it out there so people get used to using it, so that when they move into a professional setting, if they do, that they're already familiar with it. I put the link in Discord. I'll drop it in chat here too. Sorry I fell behind on chat. Varen again, thank you for that. Jadam, thank you for the follow. Looking forward to the Crossfield refit and Muds bundle. Yeah, I mean, engineers on ground are awesome. Engineers in STO, engineers on ground are, but they blow everything else out of the water. It's just in space, their abilities start to fall apart towards the, like when you start to move towards higher level endgame stuff, especially like record chasing, their utility starts to become a bit less valuable aside from EPS power transfer. You're at 3450 out of 4200 on the event campaign. Yeah, you're fine because so I assume you're on PC. If you're on PC, that's plenty of time to get that done because we still have another event that'll be dropping in probably November. The Achilles is fun. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Geyser, I agree. If beam overload and cannon rapid fire gave an increased range weapon status effect, say going up to yeah, I mean that'd be fine. Any speculations on what the winner ship would be? Um, I don't know yet, but we did just see a bunch of Breen ships in the last season of Discovery, so it'd be a good time for them to revisit some of the old the old Breen stuff. More people are watching this stream than playing Concord. Yeah, I've seen that is that game has certainly flopped a little bit, hasn't it? Sam, I mean, that would probably be wise of them, you know, very, very long term, but that'd be a lot of initial cost. So I don't know if that's something they're looking at right now. What is my prediction for the next Muds bundle? I mean, we've had a lot of disco focus this year, so they could continue that, or I mean, Lower Decks. You know, Lower Decks has their final season starting up in October. That would be a great time for us to get a Lower Decks Muds bundle. Discovery sucks. I mean, there's you know, to each of the shows there were ups and downs. I feel that this most recent season was a bit better than season 4 was for me. Season 5 of Discovery, I mean, it it wasn't perfect. No show ever is, but I'd say the recent season wasn't as bad as prior ones. Sick of Fed ships. Yeah, they could scale it down, but I don't know if that's something they'd be interested in. How's my Sunday? It's good. And Dari? No, Sam. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you can't get those bundle exclusive pets. Do I have a suggestion for one of the? I assume you mean the 12,000 Zen legendary ship bundles. Yeah, wait for a sale on those, and I would say right now, you know, I still really like the legendary battlecruiser one. The legendary Avenger is just such an amazing ship. How would STO look if we didn't have Discovery? Yeah, I mean, love it or hate it, Discovery definitely contributed a lot to STO. Have I tried the new Hirogen ship yet? I have not picked it up on the live server. I do have one over on Tribble, but I have not had time the past couple of days to really play the game or test it. E6 Dyson bundle on sale. What shows have I been watching lately? I haven't. So I just finished a couple months ago. I finished Person of Interest. And then I actually went through and watched The Office for the first time. But after that, I haven't picked up a new TV show yet. I just really haven't had much time the past 2 or so months. Legendary Jem'Hadar Dreadnought Carrier, absolutely. Give it the Vanguard mechanic. Wolf Arch, I can't English. Wolf, thank you for the follow. And again, thank you. Thank you for buying that duty officer. Yeah, no problem. Need more Dominion ships? Yeah, we need more non-Fed ships in general that are not promo or lockbox. Okay. 2447. I mean, 24 is a really great duty officer, absolutely. So I never finished going over the leaks. Endeavor, how's it going? So we've got the Lamar, which I was talking about earlier. This will probably be a Science Spearhead and probably will end up being promo. And then we have the Rapier, which is like a remastered skin for the Saber. So we do have some more ship remasters incoming, and again, like I said earlier, that Lamar from Star Trek Prodigy. Console players also just randomly had the Captain Alteration tokens dropped on console with no heads up, and some people are saying it's doing. Some people are saying that there's like the untranslated error that PC saw initially. So it'll probably be another patch or two until this fully gets sorted out for console players. And with the Heritage Bundle, Chris, oh, Nicholas, thank you for the 20 gifted. Damn, dude. Much appreciated, man. Microvax, yes. Chiaps, I'm going to mispronounce every last thing. Because every time I mispronounce something with my Iowa education, it gets a comment. And that comment is engagement. Yeah. Nicholas, thank you, man. William, very nice. Yeah, Baron, it was great. Like Nick messaged me and is like, "Hey, can you check to see if you have a 39 47?" And I'm like, "Sure. Is this for you or for someone else? And what are you looking to pay for it, or what are they looking to pay for it?" And Nick was like, "It was Wolf." And I'm like, I think I'm just gonna go see how much EC he has and put it up for one EC above him, just to mess with him, just to be a dick. and he bought it. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible of me. But it was a very funny moment, and I wish I would have recorded it. It was funny. It was a great time. Did I miss anything else in chat again, Nick? Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Education. Look, I am from a very small town in eastern Iowa. There wasn't much education. Yeah, Bridger, I agree. A science spearhead sovereign would probably not be great for me. No, I grew up over near, like, Dubuque. The same place that Kate Mulgrew's from. IRO. Any new visuals with the new space set? From what I've heard, no. At least for the shield effect. You know, I do have it here, so let's go take a look at it quick. But what else I was gonna say before is that the with the Heritage Bundle over on console, the Deluxe over there is now screwed. Or about to be screwed. So one of the advantages that console had was their Deluxe was not at 500. And that advantage is not going to be here too much longer. Yeah, I am preparing to get some EC together. It's 65 mil. Well, you know, I know I've talked about wanting to save up some EC, but you know, this is just always so tempting. There's another 6 keys. And 4 of them went as kit modules. What is that RNG? What? Okay, let's go up to space. I mean, everyone's favorite ship. There's probably 5 of you that immediately closed the stream as soon as you saw me in this ship. Let's go to... I don't know. Let's go to something different. I bought out the event because I've been busy. So is there new visuals with this stuff? Not for the deflector, not for the engines, and for the shield. No. There's no new visual effect with this set. So people were asking about this set. So what I'm going to do, I mean, this has all been posted and I think it's up on Reddit, but I'm going to take pictures of each of the set pieces and just repost them up on Discord for people that haven't seen them yet. Vice, thank you for the casual membership. Very much appreciated. And here is the set. So thankfully the cloaking effect does not have the negative interaction that we were worried about. It does still allow you to fire your weapons while it's active, so I'm glad that they planned for that. They probably knew that we were going to worry about that as soon as we read it. But here are the pieces. Yeah, the hypermass torpedo has been fixed. STO Better put up a breakdown of the hypermass torp over on the STO builds subreddit, and they found it was okay, but nothing that would make it onto like a top 5 on a torp build. Like, it was acceptable, I think was the summary, but like you're not going to swap anything out for it. So Sizer here, I think, can comment on this a bit better, but Sizer, you were seeing like really high numbers from the shield, right? From the anti-proton damage. Like, you were seeing, I think I saw some parses being talked about that were like 80k DPS from that shield. Some a bit higher. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I see. I've got one of your parses pulled up now. 124k DPS from the shield in an HSC pug where you did 2 million, but you have to be taking a lot of threat for it. Like, you have to, or not threat, you need to be, you need your shield facings to be like constantly bouncing back and forth, right, for that to work. So you let the shield facing drop, let it do its damage, get it back up. Like, it's a back and forth. Re-eng for regen. Gotcha. That's a good tip. So Sizer's been playing with this set quite a bit and says that the best way to use it there is to make the modifiers on the shield regen. But yeah, here is a picture of a parse. And when looking at this, let me just get another picture here. We can zoom in on that. Yeah, look at all the damage lines from that shield. Rear, front, left, right. So you got 4. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and it scales with EPG. So, I mean, I don't think this is going to be a set that's necessarily for everyone out there, but I think that there's going to be some interesting builds out there that do utilize at least the shield from this set. And the 3-piece might be worth it on some supports. Nice. Well, the 3-piece has this damage buff clicky that will buff all allies within a few kilometers of you. Or a 20 kilometer sphere. Okay, so that's really wide area. But that's a damage buff there. Now, a question I've seen pop up is, can you make the damage buff from this scale up with like infiltrators and the other stuff out there that would buff up ambush? So let's take a look there. Nick, you act like I've never set up a support. My main objective when we are doing our high-end runs is to be side DPS. But I've got Admiral Kane. I used Admiral Kane yesterday, and I've got Admiral Kane set up as a super special support. When we're doing a left-right run, Admiral Kane is meant to go to the right side, take out them front 2 gens, and have the right side perfectly prepared for the DPS player. You're just a hater, Nick. How's my tank doing? Not great. Nick has won an Infinity Prize Pack T6 ship. Congrats, Nicholas. There is another credence for you. Yeah, I would highly recommend the Pavin. Okay, let's take a look. Can we buff up this 3-piece set with infiltrators or anything like that? So, what do I have on here right now? I do actually have an infiltrator bridge officer on already. So, I'm not going to the wrong thing. I want to put my key tactics on, just see if that does anything to it. And what was the name of this? Coordinated empowering. No. My key tactics has not changed that damage buff. And I already have an infiltrator bridge officer on. If I drop that... Oh, it changes position. Okay. I saw the numbers go from 15 to 25. That's because it went down to Domino. No, it doesn't appear to have any interaction with Infiltrator or the other ambush buffs out there. It does stack from what I've heard, yes. So if an entire supporting team is using this, that's, you know, that's 60% Cat 2 for the DPS player. Chris, I think you can just use the Pavo Omni on its own and get good performance from it. But if you're looking to do a Proton setup, then you can certainly mess with the Dyson rep stuff. But to be honest, I think the Pavo Omni on its own pretty much holds its own. Primal Rage, you can turn off those messages. So if anyone here, if you're annoyed by the pop-up notifications for people winning ships, you can go to notification settings, which can be accessed on PC by the drop-down arrow at the bottom right of your minimap, and you can uncheck, what is it? I think it's gameplay announcements. Uncheck that in flying, and that will make those not show up. Steel, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's like the record run VOD jug setup. Where's Full Gundam? Thank you for the follow. Now, everything I've heard, Sizer, is that it is stacking. I mean, that depends on the environment you're in, Musin. I think most people aren't running, you know, super support focused builds, so I don't think people need to worry about the 3-piece set, but I think the shield array, especially if you follow what Sizer is saying there and redo it for regen, that is going to be quite interesting. There's a lot of modifiers here. There we go. So if you get the Kittimer Alliance shield from the current event, you do want to re-engineer it to cap regen times 4. And Sizer is specifically saying, you mind if I share that, Sizer? What you said there? You okay with me saying that, or you doing like a vid or post on it? Sizer says to go with the 3-piece disco set alongside the shield here, and that's been working pretty well. So disco, rep, deflector, engine, core, and then the Kittimer Alliance shield. I mean, obviously, if you want to have A bit more maneuverability than you'd still run your comp engines, but you know that 3-piece plus this shield is working pretty well for him. Got to pair that shield with the Valdor. Thirst for Battle or Time Surge is always good options for maneuverability. Yeah. Well, it's a matter of what Sizer's saying. What she's saying is, you with the regen that you would have with the shield, you do want the shield to be able to go back down right away. So with the regen here, it's going to regen back up to the point right away where it can do more damage again. But if you go and use the Valdor console, you might be keeping your shields up too effectively in order to, and that would prevent you from getting some of the damage procs that this thing can do. I'm just catching up on chat. Yeah, Sizer explicitly said they were running this without the Valdor console. And again, like the results they're getting with it set to regen X4 there, and Sizer said she also put a point in regen in the skill tree. So if you're really focusing on this, then you may want to build into it just a little bit. But it's something fun for you to play around with. I mean, you can see the numbers there. Let's pull up a calculator. Let's add up these DPS numbers here. So you have $126k DPS, right there on a run that was 1.933 mil. Like that's for a shield array, that's pretty good. Serious question though, isn't Tilly like 10% extra damage against shields? It is, but you typically punch through shields fast enough. Yeah, I'll probably when I have time, I will look into getting something done for it. Have any ships bumped the Delkina or Vajug with all these new packs and sets? Now, when you're looking at top 3 ships for like DPS, do record chasing, it's still Vajug, Legendary Avenger, Delkina. Yeah, the Legendary Avenger specifically is what I've been using for my most recent infected runs. And the reason for that is just because of the maneuverability. With Infected Space Elite, with those really high-end coordinated runs, we've got it to a point where it's possible a run can be under 20 seconds. And I like the Vajug, but it's a bit sluggish to handle, and that Legendary Avenger just has that little bit of extra maneuverability, which is really helping it out. The damage it does is anti-proton. Yes, this is the Kittimer set. And again, I just re-engineered the shields to regen. Regen times 4. It scales really well for an AP heavy tank. Okay. So if you're on an AP tank build, which I mean, most people are running Bowel AP on their tanks anyways, so like this shield looks like it's just a really good combo with that. Yeah. So I mean, it's a set that's not going to appeal to everyone, but I think that shield array is going to appeal to some AP based tank players, and I think the 3-piece set is going to potentially find its way into some high-end environments. I think, yeah, I mean, it's buffed by EPG, but I think I saw it was also, or that part of it was also buffed by AP damage. Don't you need it, Nick? I mean, I just bought out the event. I tried to do a Nupiter Erratus with my Nadarian, where I just sat in the center, and then I realized that they changed it, so you do need to close now for the portals. So I instantly bought the event out because I just didn't feel like dealing with it. I just don't have time right now. I know I could have done Swarm, but I've just been busy. Yeah, we've gotten some really nice items in the past few releases. EPG free to play build. I really don't like recommending EPG for free to play anymore. For free to play or budget, I mean, I know that there's a lot of good stuff out there that you can get that will be very effective for a classical EPG build, but I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of recommending EPG a ton right now. The shield does not scale with EPG. The 3-piece does. Gotcha. What do I think is the best Starfleet designed ship with an experimental weapon slot for DPS? The Theseus. When it comes to the best ships with an experimental weapon slot, your two options are Delkina and Theseus. And if you're looking for Fed, then Theseus. Stuka, I'm working on, I teased this on the Discord recently, but I am working on a build guide, similar to what I did for torpedo builds. I'm going to be doing that for CSV, and if that's successful, I might look at doing something like that once every month or so for a different firing mode or playstyle. But I'm going to be starting off with like a how-to CSV guide sometime in September. For tanking, I would say check out Nick's videos for the time being. Tanking is something that I used to do a lot of in this game, but it's not something I've done a lot of recently. I mean, aside from what you saw me do with the Vovin there, and my ability timing with that in that video was a bit rough. Can you run Bowl and not tank? Absolutely. Nice. Yeah, I really am not a fan anymore of the idea of doing build videos for a specific ship. Because ultimately I feel like most builds are very similar. Someone that's new to the game doesn't fully understand that yet. But the intention of what I'm trying to do with the videos that I'm working on is to try and just reinforce the point that, if you're looking for a specific build, it's better to understand just how to build for that playstyle rather than to build for a specific ship. Because once you understand how to build for that playstyle, you can figure out how to transfer a build or how to transfer that setup from one ship to the other. Like the plasma CSV stuff you guys have seen me do on at least a dozen different ships, and it's all basically the exact same build. It's just a matter of, how do you change the bridge officer abilities around? I know I'm butchering my words right now. I'm a bit exhausted from this past week, so I do apologize, but it's the old, like the old saying of, it's better to teach a man to fish than to just, give him a fish, or whatever the saying is there. It's better to just teach someone how to build for the play style rather than do this exact same build on 10 different ships. Nick wants me to say Sagan, like Carl Sagan. Someone's gonna get very mad at how I pronounce that name. Carl Sagan. I'm sorry. Spencer, I've been abusing your Delkina build forever now, and on console I carry many event queues. Can you also make a build to be a glitzy visual nightmare for randoms? Oh no. Data, not data? No. Yeah, I was looking at how to pronounce that after I saw it on the Reddit post the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna say it the way that I said that. How I said earlier, rapier. Um, and we're just gonna leave it at that. Whether or not that's the correct pronunciation, so be it. Console carriers are the way forward for console DPS. Yeah, I could see it. Visual spam build, please. We're popping triple up here quick, hold on. Are you talking about the Beacon and Canlis? Yeah, the Achilles experimental weapon's really good. So I'm gonna do a best experimental weapons video here in the next month or so. You know, I know I talked about doing one a while back, but I'm committing to it. So hold me to it. But it's gonna be like S tier is the Gorn Hunters plasma bombardier thing, and the Achilles hexacannons. Like those are your S tier experimental weapons. They are far above everything else. And then like your A tier is gonna be the was it gold type? Nick, this is a fake comment. I can't just remove it there. Yeah. I hate doing ship reviews, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean I already cover most of the coverage you need for a ship with the stat breakdown, because you can assess most of the value of a ship just knowing its, you know, its bridge officer setup, its stats. You don't need to fly it to understand how good or bad it's going to be. Just looking at the stats will tell you, and it's really down to, are the accessories worth talking about more. Pure phaser cannon build. You know, Nick and I have been talking about that on the Theseus, because we were talking about like um the best ship to take advantage of the hexa cannons, and for like a phaser setup, the Theseus is it if you're doing Fed. Okay, so here's the Herogen Predator. I have not leveled it up yet, and I don't really feel like it. So we're just gonna look at the tooltips here. I am on Tribble, so I can go over and at least update this stuff. So let me head over to Drozana. So it's Okay, do I just not have that mission available right now? Okay, we're just flying over there. I mean, CSV2 can work plenty fine. The Legendary Avengers CSV2, and that's currently top of the table for ISE. Kev, how's it going? I don't know why the ship is shaking like this. It was just weird shaking when I was really close to it. What's the best item to craft to make EC on the exchange? You can spam craft some weapons. Sometimes they'll sell, I mean, devices, like the advanced batteries. I don't know how those are selling, but I know that there's been points where a stack of those was going for, a couple hundred K to $1 million. People are often lazy and don't want to spam craft stuff, so you can take advantage of that and sell it to the people who would rather just do the one click through the exchange rather than, spam crafting. Nicholas, you're down bad, man. I just saw what you sent me. My condolences. Yeah, that's a good one too. Specialization qualifications and just the specialization bridge officer abilities in general. Some of you will recall that when I was doing the free-to-play character initially, like I did end up putting up some like narrow sensor bands, OSS, stuff like that, and they were selling. Nice. Yeah, the Credence is really a great ship. The Credence and the Theseus are actually quite similar with how you're going to build them out. They're both good. The Theseus is, if you want to do 5-2-1, and the Credence is, if you want to do 5-3 and have a hangar bay. I'm on the wrong window as normal. Okay, I need to clear out some slots in my inventory here. I'm on the triple test server, so do not worry about anything you see me delete.
Get your Comet cocktails.
I'm going to grab some of these upgrades.
4.7% discount for the next 3 minutes.
So on the triple test server, there's a console on Drozana where you can grab these upgrades to go in and level things up quickly. So I just want to grab the experimental weapon here and just see what it looks like. What's better for elite random, DPS tank support, universal design and complex plasma, or SAD and inertial supremacy? I mean, if you're looking to do support, then SAD and inertia supremacy for the debuff those provide. But if you're looking to do more damage yourself, then UD and complex. Okay, so here's the experimental weapon, and it only has one modifier that can be re-rolled, so that is a little bit different from some recent ones. I'm going to grab some dilithium quick and salvage. Let's re-engineer that. Yep. And let's see what this thing looks like when it's firing. Another thing, too, is this experimental weapon has a 15-kilometer range. That doesn't really matter too much, but you know, that's the special perk of this. Terrible, Nick. Any good Romulan-themed premium Lunkbox ships? The Dalkina. The Dalkina Command Strike-Wing Warbird. That's just a really good ship. And if you're looking for a build for it, I do have a video where I explicitly was using that ship as the baseline for showing how to set up a plasma build last year. Busp, thank you for the follow. Unfortunately, the test map still does not work a year later, but I can show you the experimental weapon on this thing. You can shoot out to 5 kilometers away, so let's take a look at it. And let's make sure it's scaling with energy weapons, or with your weapon power, I mean. So this is the hollow bolt heavy cannon. Make sure it is scaling up with weapon power. Yes, it is. Yeah, 15 kilometers. So here is the visual on the new experimental weapon. I mean, that's certainly interesting. The damage numbers from that, though, were not impressive. Like, the damage numbers from that are, like, actually quite bad. It's a neat visual, for sure. But it looks like you're taking quite a bit of a damage hit with it. Because that's max weapon power. I mean, I don't have anything on the build right now, but you know, this isn't going to be buffed up by too much on your build. I mean, we'll have to wait for a little bit more testing. It would be nice if I could test these in a static environment. But unfortunately, the triple test map here is broken. There is no static test dummies for me to shoot to compare against the Achilles or the Gorn Hunter. But just looking at the numbers here, it doesn't look super impressive. It's really cool visual, but that's about it right now. This is the Field of Prey console from it. No, Hexacannons and the Gorn Hunter experimental weapon have pretty much removed the relevance of most experimental weapons.
Buy another drink. Maybe it'll bring you good.
Yeah, the Hunter got a new skin leaked to it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's the isomag count. I mean, both ships are good. But both ships are good. It's just isomags are just really strong. The experimental weapon on this is physical. So physical damage. Now, just for a quick comparison, I do happen to have the Hexacannons and the Gorn Hunter experimental weapon here. And I'm going to just take all three in and just show you guys like the damage numbers between them, just so you can get a better idea on, you know, how good or bad this thing is doing. And I am going to slot, I think the Factory console would buff this. I'll take the ship up to X2, and I will just go in and put on some isomags, but I am going to do just disruptor ones so that the isomags are just there for the power buff and are not buffing any of these weapons. Oleron and yeah, the hexacannons are really good. Really, really good. Wrong button. So the map is taking a while to load, but for the Theseus versus Atlantis, it just boils down to the isomag situation. You know, between these. The Theseus can get... oh, this loaded the wrong Theseus. Hold on. There we go. So the Theseus Merc Worker Destroyer, that can do 7 isomags versus the Atlantis, which can do a maximum of 4. Hexacannons are from the Achilles, yes. But I mean, both ships are good. You know, don't get me wrong, both ships are very capable. I just think between the two, the Theseus should come out ahead for maximizing like the experimental weapon. Archimagos, how's it going? Okay, so first up, I want to put this experimental weapon back on from the Herogen ship. And that is, again, the Hollow Bolt. So let me find it. I do have the right one on, correct? Hollow Bolt. It was right in front of me the entire time. Is it buffed by the Factory console? That's going to be my first question here. The answer is yes. The Factory console does indeed buff it. Yeah, there are advantages. There's pros and cons to both. The Atlantis does not have the ability to run as many isomags, but it does have access to OSS. And I mean, accessibility-wise, the Atlantis is $30 in the C-store. The Theseus, you might be dropping $100 on that for a single character. Okay. So let's fire this thing just so you guys can see the numbers again. And I guess I can turn a parser on too. That would probably help. Combat log. I'll screw up. Okay, real time's not going to be up because I'm not going to relink that over to Triple right now. It's combat settings. I'm going to let the experimental weapon fire once, and then I'm going to swap to a different experimental weapon.
Warning, ship is under attack.
I did combat log 1, so hold on. Give me a second. I think there's something wrong with that file. Okay, we're just going to look at it in system chat. So, physical damage, you can see it did several shots here. Really not that much. Now, I am going to swap this out for the Plasma Bombardier. We're going to let that fire once, and we'll see what the damage is. We'll do this from max range also.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Okay. Of course, I don't have a hazard on. So that dot on me is going to keep adding. There we go. So let me just take pictures of these so you can see the difference. Okay. So within just the first shot, you know, both of these, you can see that there's quite a noticeable difference between the two. I think most of you looking at these two would immediately jump over to the one at the right, because the one at the left there, again, that's a bit underwhelming, ain't it? Okay, here it goes. For some reason, it wasn't showing up at first in Oscar, but now it is, and here you go. So the hollow bolt in that first, you know, just the one shot of each so far, the hollow bolt did less than a fifth of the plasma incendiary bombard. Now let's try the hexacannons. Okay. Let's set active combat, basic combat encounter 1. I'm going to shoot this sphere from max distance again.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing. Right shields
Yeah.
failing.
The hexacannons are good. Who knew? Who could have imagined? Let me pop that up in Oscar. So let me just get the numbers from between the two. Again, this is just, you know, a really rough test. This is literally just, you know, one shot with each of these. But the hexacannons came out on top. The plasma incendiary bombard did less damage, but was still good. And then the hollow bolt, it existed. Amtran, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry, I'm a few minutes behind on chat. Yeah, it'd be nice to have Hexaplasma or Disruptor, absolutely. David, how's it going? Yeah, indeed, Paul. I mean, I can fire that again from the 10-kilometer range like I did the other ones, just to see how that changes things. So let's do that. Just to try and be fair to it. Because I was, you know, going into its gimmick of being able to fire from further away. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Again, this isn't perfect testing. There used to be static test dummies on this map, but for whatever reason, they've been gone for a while. And I went too close.
Is under attack. 4 shields failing. Rear shields failing.
Go, close enough. That was not perfect, but it was close enough. Analysis. The hollow bolt. I mean, did a little bit better there. Total damage, though, compared to the initial. So it did a third more damage, you know, being closer there. So I think the Terran Acheron will come to Muds next year. That might still be too new, Terran Emperor. You know, I honestly, I almost used my event campaign to get an Acheron just to play around with it. But in the end, I ended up going for the Connie 3 just due to the cost. But I would like to see that in a Muds bundle. How do I feel about the Connie 3? Robert, I'm sorry, I just saw your question. I got a little bit behind in chat. The Connie 3's accessories are good for a variety of playstyles. And I mean, the Connie 3 itself's a decent phaser or decent beam platform. Yeah, this is an unimpressive experimental weapon. Its damage is just subpar. And the reason it's subpar is because it's got that gimmick of being able to be fired from such a far distance away. So the hollow bolt, I don't think you need to worry about it. Tim? Yeah. Yeah, so again, you know, looking at the total damage number here, the hollow bolt did not do well. You compare that to the hexacannons, the hexacannons did over 5 times better than it. Well, way over 5 times. Is the Klingon flight deck raptor at par with the Delkina? No. The Delkina really doesn't have an equivalent in the current state of the game. Yeah, unimpressive. Now, the next thing I'm curious about is the console from this ship, Field of Prey. The ambush from this, is this able to be extended? So let me... What was the name of the console again? Field of Prey. And the clicky is Field of Prey. So if I slot McKee Tactics, will that buff this up? No.
Ship is under attack.
It's an interesting visual, Field of Prey. I mean, we were talking about visual effects spam earlier. Imagine that, and then the Kelvin Connie 2 console on at the same time. Get the blue ball around your ship, the red ball. Do I have a promo box here? Oh, it's not been updated to have the Kelvin Connie. Yep. Yeah, so no buffs from the ambush buff. The starship trait from this, again, it's up for a second every 10 seconds. That second starts when you start firing your energy weapons, is what I've heard. So, I mean, at least that's good for it, but I think the uptime on this is still just too low to be worth using. Do I think they're going to nerf the hexacannons? No. Keep in mind, experimental weapons do not benefit from the majority of haste items out there, like Fleet Power Network Array, so... Yeah, Terran Emperor, I think the lack of the Muds bundle sales have been very disappointing. The STO servers are the only thing that's allowed to blue ball. Wow. Under combat, okay. So it's the first second upon entering combat. My bad. My bad. But yeah, this... I mean, honestly, the Herodian Predator, I just think is a ship overall that you can just ignore. Like, I don't think you need to worry about burning resources on it. We know that there's, you know, more stuff incoming in the next couple of months. We've got leaks of the Lamar from Prodigy incoming. So if you're a Prodigy fan or a Sovereign fan, that's a ship that, per the leaks, appears to be kit bashable with the other Sovereign variants. So that may be a ship that you'd want to save up for. The stats that you see here, that's from the Intel Assault Cruiser, not from the Lamar. It's just that when you look at the Intel Assault Cruiser in the store over on console, and you look at the possible skins for it, you can see the Lamar there. I mean, the ship itself is better than the T5 version for the Herodian Predator. Like, this isn't a bad ship. It's just that it's not worth $100 for a single character. It's not worth it. No, you can go out and pick up the legendary Jemadar attack ship in the legendary Dominion Captain bundle for like $60 during a sale. That is going to give you more value than the Herodian Predator. Like, the experimental weapon on this thing, based on the testing I've done here, it sucks. The console on this, it's a neat concept, but really isn't going to matter to most people. And the trait has such low uptime, it's irrelevant. I mean, it's a neat looking console, really neat visual effect. It's just, I'm not going to spend $100 to get that for a single character. Martin? Yeah, I mean, it's still possible. I think it was probably an oversight on their part that they did not remove the T5 Herodian Hunter. You don't want a 4/4 Sovereign variant? What? I mean, everyone wants a 5/3, but it's going to end up being like a 4/3 Science Spearhead. You saw my password? It was a bunch of dots? Oh no. That's a terrible thing. A 3/3? Oh no. Steve-O, how's it going? I believe that was Nicholas. Nick gifted 20 earlier. Terrible. Just got the email for it. Jason with the 20 gifted memberships. Jason, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Cheops. Do I think DECA will update the Romulan storyline? I think DECA over time will probably go back through and make sure that there's a certain level of polish that they want to the game, but I think anything with DECA is going to take time. But I am confident that DECA is interested in making sure that this game is viable in the long term. They want this game to be healthy long term. but we are certainly in a bit of a rough patch, you know, with the transitory period happening, where the development team is still the new one is still learning how the game works, how the code works. But you know, again, like I said earlier, I think we'll look back at this a few years from now, and this slow period of time where things were a little bit chaotic will have been worth it. There was a question that popped up earlier that I forgot to answer also. And I'm just remembering it because I'm swapping over to it. But Waldo, I think it might have been you. You asked, is the Credence the best ship? Or someone asked, is the Credence the best premium like lockbox promo ship that we've had released this year? And the answer is yes. So far, the promo and lockbox releases have somewhat been disappointing this year. We've had a lot of science ships. But the Credence has certainly been the best of the releases for the premium side so far this year. He's definitely being paid to espouse confidence in the future of the game. Is the Legendary Sovereign good for Beam Overload 3? Yeah, it's fine. Do I think DECA will remove the restrictions on Omni Beams? I think that would be smart of them. At least make it so all of your aft weapon slots can be Omni Beams. That would be smart of them. The top 10 list for next year is going to suck? Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. The Credence is literally the only ship that's come out this year, premium-wise, that I can, like, actually recommend. Yeah, hopefully that changes in the second half of the year, but everything that's been good this year has pretty much been C-Store or Event, which, I mean, is for the better. I hope moving forward that the Event ships are made available again much sooner than they have been in recent years. At least that'll make it an easy choice. Nick, fix it, man. Like, I'm gonna pull up the sortable, filterable ship list and just double check, because let me see here. Virgin Predator. Okay, what other filter is set here? Release. And source is promo lockbox. Like, you look at the ships this year. Kelvin Timeline Constitution 2. Very underwhelming. In some ways, it's a downgrade versus the existing legendary Kelvin Connie. The Orion Devar. It's not the worst ship ever, but there's a lot of competition in the EPG scene. The Dudersat literally has a trait on it that lowers your damage when you use it. Ethereum Revelation, garbage. The Credence, actually good, has a really good console and trait on it also. And then the Heroian Predator, no reason to buy it with the legendary Jem'Hadar attack ship being a thing. The Devar is good. It's just, again, there's a lot of competition for, you know, high-end side platforms. But Temporal Intel, that's a really good combo. Yeah, the Heritage Bundle just came in and just took over the spotlight for sure when it comes to C-Store. Why does everyone call the Zen store the C-Store? Because it used to be the Cryptic store. So all of your veteran players are used to calling it still the C-Store from back in the day. And as new players come in, they hear everyone else calling it C-Store, and that's just stuck. The Vern has been beaten. The top EPG platform on the table is the Lucari Junior Scout ship for EPG. C-Store is the cash store. That too. Warp Core, how's it going? I think the biggest issue with most of the releases this year is you look at the premium ships this year. Science. You know, the science ships are just not really that appealing to the player base at large, I feel. And if I back this out and also include Event and C-Store, you know, look at how many science ships we've had this year. There's 18 ships on this list. Okay? 18 ships. If I filter by ships that have a commander science, that's half of them. So half of the releases for this year are for for a playstyle of ships that just doesn't appeal to the player base at large. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, I mean, again, you know, best premium ship this year so far, yeah, that is the Credence. I guess I'm just checking something here real quick. Responding to a message. Link that searchable. Yeah. So whenever you're going to use this, you need to go to File, make a copy, because you cannot edit this one here. So again, as soon as you go to that link, File, make a copy, and it'll put a copy of it into your Google Drive. And then you can go through and look through that yourself. If there's some ships that you want to directly compare, there's a tab at the bottom for that. If you're just wanting to look at the overview of all of the T6 ships in the game, then you can go through and, you know, set the filters the way you want them. What are the best C-Store ships for this year? That's a good question. Let's set this filter back to just C-Store. I mean, all of the 14th bundle ships have really panned out quite well. The Atlantis is good. The Chekhov's good. Like, all of these are good, you know, in one way or another. The Dyson ships are probably the weakest of the bunch, in my opinion, but, you know, even though the Premonition's surprisingly been performing really well for people, the Premonition's actually the top science boat on the ISC tables right now. Michi, if Michi's still here, shouldn't be. He should be in bed. But if Michi is still here, he got almost 3 mil with the Premonition in an infected split run. Most recent was Temporal. The Credence is not selectable with the event campaign reward yet. It will be next year. Okay, Nick. The Princeton's accessory, though, the console on that thing, that's really interesting for high HP tank builds. You can use your HP to do damage. Not the boss of Michi? Oh no. Yeah, the Heritage Bundle rocks. The Typhon's a good carrier. The premonition, capable side platform. It's not. I don't think it's the best, but you can clearly build it out to perform quite well. The Achilles has been a good performer. The Dyson Science Destroyers, the ROM one and the KDF one, again, I think those are both good. The Fed one, I just wasn't a big fan of. The Princeton, it's a fun little tank platform. It's not the best, but the console off of it can be very useful. The Chekhov is good. The Atlantis is good. The Awani. The Awani is a ship that basically every STO player should have. Can you test the Captain Alteration token on Tribble? Yes, you can. You should be able to, at least. Do I think the 15th year anniversary bundle will give us a better Galaxy class ship? I don't think the... You know, I wonder how the 15th anniversary is going to go. You know, to be honest with you, I think they're probably going to want to do that as something really special because it's 15 years, but it's also probably the last anniversary bundle that the Cryptic team will probably work on. So I could see them, just throwing out a theory. I could see them going back and doing some of the really notable original Cryptic ships and doing like some special version of them for the 15th bundle. Doing some really nice remodels for them. Just something thrown back to the Cryptic ships. Some of the OG designs or something. I don't know. Lance, yes, you can use the Captain Alteration token as many times as you want on the character. So if you change the character over to something and you want to change it back or change it to something else, that is an option for you. I mean, I'm not going to say no. Legendary flashback ships. The All Odyssey bundle. I would love to design a ship. I think most of everyone here would love to be able to design a ship. I put out a video earlier this year going over the best do platform at the time that I could think of, and I want to redo that, but it's going to be a flight deck carrier version of that now, where it's, or not even it doesn't have to be a flight deck carrier. It could be a dreadnought carrier too, but just Merc Worker Intel. Give me 5.2 or 5.3 weapon slots with Merc Worker Intel spec combo, Battle Cloak. And, I mean, I'd be Warp Core or Singularity Core, I'd be fine either way. Frankenstein ships. Why do you think I have so many Theorycraft vids? The Disco D7 is Merc Worker and Command. Need Merc Worker Intel. Yeah, give me a VOD jug with a hangar bay and modern looks and a little bit better maneuverability. Absolutely. Absolutely. Experimental weapons right now. I mean, obviously we've just had the Hexa cannons, which are good performers. But I think experimental weapon wise, one of the biggest limitations for those is that they don't benefit from your weapon haste. So the reason I moved out of the Delkina for record runs is because the runs were getting so fast, the experimental weapons couldn't keep up. They were landing after the target was already dead. So I think something that buffs the haste on experimental weapons Be cool. Let him fire a bit faster. Yeah. Miracle Worker or Command is the best primary, and Intel or Temp secondary is usually the most desired. Right now, with the Do meta, Miracle Worker Intel. Did Airdex Warbird Hanger Pets for the Scimitar? So, Lance, yes. You're still part of the Romulan faction. So you can't use the Captain Alteration token to change faction. You're just changing race within your existing faction. So you can swap from a Romulan to a Romulan alien. And you're getting that extra trait slot from being an alien, but you're still part of the Romulan faction. Yeah. Yeah, Warp Core. But I mean, in general, if I could fire them, a bit faster, that would enable them to be able to land a few more shots at least. Because right now, in order for me to consider slotting an experimental weapon, it has to be able to do at least 400k DPS in that higher end environment in a supported run. If I can't get 400k DPS out of the experimental weapon, then it loses out to my 5-3 setups. Because in those really high end fast runs, the KCB, when you've got 5 stacks of fleet power on you, they can do 400 plus. So the experimental weapons have to beat that. Can you go human to alien? Yes, you can, Lance. It is whatever race within your faction. So I guess to be clear, if you're just a normal Fed, you can go from human to alien. If you're like TOS Starfleet, you may not have that option. Yeah, like Jay said. As a pet build, I mean that can work, but I think if you're looking to really focus on the carrier playstyle, I recommend this a lot, but the builds Discord has a carrier section, and you can see, what the latest carrier builds are that people are putting together. I know Sizer's been getting quite a bit out of some of these Intel carriers also, and the Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier. I know Sizer's a very big fan of. Yeah, the builds Discord, which I'll drop a link to in chat here. The /STO builds link for it is not currently working. We are 2 boosts short currently, so if anyone has some server boosts they can toss at the builds Discord, that would be appreciated. We're 2 short of level 3 right now. I canceled my Nitro membership, and I couldn't afford to keep the boost rolling. Spent too much. I know, it's terrible, Warp Core. Everything that ain't human is alien. What causes red alert sound when you activate emergency power? Do you have a trade active that interacts with emergency power subsystem abilities? Cheops. That is just terrible. Yeah, I had to get new tires on the car. Picked up the new phone. But to be fair, I took advantage. AT&T had a deal where you trade in any of the older Pixels, and you could get the new Pixel 9 Pros for free. I did take advantage of that. Pixel 9 Pro XL. Again, it was free with the trade-in of my Pixel 4a. The trade-off being, you have to be on one of their unlimited plans for 3 years. But I looked at the numbers and yeah. With the wait, what? Hold on, I think I missed something in chat. Yes, I'm going from Pixel 4a to Pixel 9 Pro XL. You have to be on contract for 3 years. But if you did it before the 21st, you could get the 512 gig Pro XL. Oh. The Obelisk 3-piece will cause EPTX to go red alert. Have I publicized the BSG sale? No, I have not, Warpcore. But yeah, thank you for reminding me. For any of you that are fans of Battlestar Galactica, Master Replicas currently has a sale going on for the BSG ships, where you can get three of them for the price of 2. I'll drop a link to that in chat for any of you interested. I think that sale ends here in like the next couple of hours. Mac, thanks for stopping by. How much is the contract over 3 years? So when I looked at it over the course of 3 years, it will be, the base price is $2,100, but I took advantage of some deals they had going through Costco. So I should be getting, I think, about $300 back. So that's effectively $1,800 over 3 years. So I am paying for the phone somewhat, but I was already paying, like 400-ish, smidge over 400 a year for my previous plan, so that's effectively the new phone for $600. I can live with that. Plan to upgrade my Galaxy Fold 2 to the next gen Fold 6. So if I sell my Romulan DPRM for profit, as I can't use it, what is a good DPRM alternative? The Adaptive Emergency Systems console, which you can get off of the engineering variants of the Odyssey, Scimitar, and Bordeaux. I like it. The new Pixel, it's really great so far. The fingerprint sensor is really good on it. I was worried. The thing with the 4A that I liked is that the fingerprint sensor was still on the back. But the new ultrasonic one that they have here, it works perfectly. Works perfectly with this. ROM Alien. Vice ROM Alien, you're getting an extra trait slot. Yeah, it's been doing that for a while, Dark Eddie. I haven't really messed around with Gemini too much yet. That wasn't my, main motivation to move to the new phone. My 4A was starting to have battery issues, so I was in the market for a new phone, and I was looking at Woot had a deal. Woot, a part of Amazon, had a deal for the Pixel 7 Pro where you could get one for like just under $500. But then I saw the deal that AT&T was doing, and I looked around. I saw that Costco deal where for porting a new number into AT&T and for buying a new phone, I'd get a couple hundred back. And I was like, I could spend an extra $100 and get the latest phone. So I went for that. Is there a trait that grants pets torpedo enhancements when you activate a torp firing mode like coordinated assault does for range weapons? Doesn't the Akira one do something like that? I don't think there's anything that works directly like what you're saying, but I think the Akira one might be the closest. I don't know, hold on. Legendary Akira. No, it's just, okay, it's a debuff, okay. Okay, so that's just enhancing their effect. No, but I know if you're on a command ship with the command Kodai, you can get some extra, torp spreads out of them that way. Gotcha. Yeah, I know the risk of biosecurity on phones, I know. And I'm not too worried about that personally. Yeah, Warp Core, the optical one that they had on the Pixel 6 through 8 was terrible. Okay, I do need to head out now, or head out for now, so any final questions you guys have before I go? What is the meaning of life? Any update on console getting a parser? No. What is my favorite color? Blue. Cheops sends some terrible messages. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully I'll have some time to get around to recording stuff here in the next couple of days. But yeah, I need to bail out for now. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see you guys around. There's the big scary dude behind you. Oh no. And Nick and Jason, thank you both for the gifted memberships. Very much appreciated. And on the Twitch side, if I can get that to pop up here. Again, Baron, thank you for the raid. And for all the follows associated. I will see you guys around.